G'day YouTube, Max right here, and I want to be talking today about the altcoin and Ethereum boom that is going to happen after this Bitcoin boom. We're kind of starting to see the starts of it now, but I think there is a lot more to come. So by the end of this video, you will understand where Ethereum and the other altcoins are going over the next few months. So let's jump right into it. By the way, let me know in the comments below, what do you think is going to be the best performer? Bitcoin, Ethereum, or in general, the altcoin market? Let me know in the comments below which one you think is going to be the biggest winners over the next kind of 2, 3, 4 months. Let us know. So here we are looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. For those of you who don't know, the Bitcoin dominance chart is the percentage market cap of Bitcoin divided by the total market cap of the entire crypto space. So it's what percentage of the entire crypto market space is Bitcoin. And you can see ever since, where are we, mid-2019, we were in this long time descending channel right here, and we're in this space for a month. Now, generally, what happens in this world is that during bear market, so when the price is going down from $20,000, so the price of Bitcoin here is $20,000, and then it goes all the way down to $3,000 over here. Generally, Bitcoin dominance goes up. Generally, when the price of Bitcoin is headed north, the price of Bitcoins moves north faster. And so what you see is a decrease in Bitcoin dominance. This was all very, very predictable and expected, this downtrending channel in the Bitcoin dominance. But we did see this crazy anomaly here with this huge breakout. And we went all the way up to, even eclipsing this, and in the Bitcoin dominance, we went to a 2017 high. So December 2017 high in Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so that's a 4-year high. I think this was a little bit of an anomaly. Now we can check this and see what happens. So right now we're at a critical component. We will do, most likely, we're going to do one of two things. We're going to bounce off this major trend line and use it as support and head back up, thus indicating we're in a new kind of zone. Something is different. And we have broken out of this downward channel now, confirmation that we're out of this channel, and we will head in this kind of a channel. Yes, that is the possibility. I think that's the least likely of the two things, but I can certainly think of reasons why this would be the case. Reasons why this would be the case is the enormity of the institutional money coming into this space. As a general rule, it's primarily Bitcoin that is the most attractive to them, right? It's already a big risk for big institutional investors to enter the crypto world at all, let alone going and doing it with some kind of altcoin. The safest bet, because remember, these guys, their job security is what they're after. And so right now we see this turning where it's acceptable to put your fund's money or your retirement, if you manage a pension fund, or you manage the balance sheet of your Fortune 500 company. It was stocks, bonds, and you after job security, right? But now that you still have job security by getting into Bitcoin. I don't think you have job security getting into Ethereum. If Bitcoin goes down, it's like, well, Michael Saylor did it, Tudor Jones did it, I've got all these other people who did it, so it went bad, but I don't lose my job for being insane. Whereas you go investing in something like Ethereum, to a lesser degree, but to a much greater degree, any of the other altcoins, and it goes down, well, you should have known better. That was way too speculative an asset for you to go in, and you just lost your job. And so there's definitely an argument. I think that mentality is what drove this Bitcoin price up and what drove the Bitcoin dominance up. Now the question is, and that's one reason. There's a second reason as well. Actually holding the money, holding your crypto for Fortune 500 companies, for hedge funds, etc. It's you're going to use an institution. You're going to use something like Gemini. You're going to use something like BitGo. You're going to use something like these kind of corporations who can hold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of crypto for you, and they manage the private keys. And there's all the legalities of who's the officer of the company at the time, because you can't just let the CEO hold the keys, or even the CEO and the CFO, and you can't do it because these jobs go in and out, and people get fired, people get hired, all these kinds of things. And so you actually need to hold your keys at a third-party institution, and then there's the legalities of, okay, who is the CFO, who is the CEO, and they manage all that kind of stuff for you. So that's really, really, really important. So Bitcoin is really, really set up for this, okay? Another aspect is, in order for the market cap to be worthwhile them getting in, because it needs to be liquid enough that they can sell and get out if they need to be, at present, Bitcoin's market cap is significantly higher than Ethereum and everything else. These are the two main reasons for this big bubble in Bitcoin dominance. And now here's where the rubber meets the road. The question is, if that institutional money keeps flowing in, I believe it keeps flowing into Bitcoin, and what we'll see here is it bounce off this support and go north, all right? And we will enter this kind of a channel. And it's going to be fascinating to watch. But if there's a little bit of a delay in that institutional money coming in, and I mean like weeks, months, 2 months, if that institutional money is not quick, Bitcoin will be boring to traders. It'll go in this sideways channel. Let's jump over to Bitcoin for a second, and you can see we're on the daily chart. Just yesterday we had this breakout here, but what we can see is for the first time since breaking $20,000, we are in this kind of a, let's call it a sideways channel, maybe call it a descending triangle, something like that. We're in this, and it's been 14 days plus. It's got boring. It got boring for a couple days here. It got boring for a couple days here, and Bitcoin just kept going, going, going. Now it got boring around about the last week, especially. That's when Bitcoin dominance has started to plummet. The altcoins have really kind of shot up. Okay, if Bitcoin gets boring and stays boring in this sideways channel between 30,000 and 40,000 for another couple of weeks, 4 weeks, you're going to see people move more and more. The retail investor wants the delta. They want the excitement. They want rapid movements up and down. They want the adrenaline hit right here. Give it to me. Give it to me. So if Bitcoin price stays boring, what I think you will see is that the price will go through into this band, might come down, come back and confirm it as support. And then there is a very, very big juicy move that we want to see, that I want to see anyway. I think what we'll see is that if this happens, the Bitcoin dominance could plummet all the way, and it's not a straight line. It comes down here or here or here, somewhere down to near 50. Bitcoin dominance 50, right? If that's just a monster move where the altcoins massively outperform Bitcoin, right? Massively outperform Bitcoin. And so that is going to be huge, because for them to catch up that much, it's not a matter of just going up a few percentage points. They have to go up a lot in order to catch up in that area, all right? So if it happens, it's a big, big, big juicy move for altcoins. And I think at this point, look, I don't know, it's a tight tussle. It'll be interesting to see how this battle goes. Do we bottom out, come back out, the institutional money runs into Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoins goes berserk for another few months, and all of a sudden we're at 100K Bitcoin? If that's the case, Bitcoin dominance goes up. If Bitcoin dominance is if Bitcoin price is sideways, boring, I believe altcoins are going to shine. If Bitcoin price goes down, well, we just got the evidence of that, because as we see, Bitcoin just had a big drop right here in the last day. This big red candle right here. We see it's come back mostly, but during this drop, the altcoins, they're usually more volatile than Bitcoin. They were a little bit more volatile than Bitcoin, right? Just a little bit. On the way up, the altcoins are just smashing it. They're doing really, really, really well, okay? And that is an indication for me that this altcoin season has arrived. Let's go in and check something else. Now, everybody knows, this isn't news for everybody. In the world of altcoins, you expect bigger returns, but you are taking on bigger risk. And so, as a risk-adjusted return, is Bitcoin better? Is altcoin better? Probably Bitcoin has it at the moment. Most of my assets are in Bitcoin. In fact, it's well over 95% is in Bitcoin. So what I'm looking at, I want more exposure to the altcoin market. And I see a lot of reasons to say that the altcoin market, the fundamentals are fantastic and it could be coming good. So let's go back a little bit of history. Actually, let's go back to Bitcoin dominance. And we'll see right here, jump back on auto, this right here, let's call this, this is on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and Bitcoin dominance bottomed at 57, okay? This was in September of 2020, and that represented the popping of the altcoin cycle. There was this huge altcoin cycle where the Bitcoin dominance dropped from nearly 70 all the way down to 58, and some of those low cap altcoins went up 50x, 100x. It was absolutely insane. But then it popped, and in the meantime, Bitcoin has absolutely crushed most of the altcoins and claimed back so much more of its dominance. Okay, so that's a little bit of the history there. So let's go back. What's happening in the DeFi world? Now, this is a really good website. It helps out, DeFi Pulse. And this tells us the total value of US dollars locked in DeFi. And so it's basically a representation of how much money is in DeFi. And right now we see, well, we're down here at 23 billion. But what's interesting here is Bitcoin has dragged the price up of all of the altcoins, right? It went from in January, I think we were 20-something thousand, and now we're up here at 30,000. So the Bitcoin price has dragged all the altcoin prices up. So the amount of altcoins locked in these DeFi projects, that doesn't necessarily that's increased, but just the value of it has increased. So that we have to discount or adjust this graph by the Bitcoin price to decide, is the DeFi space still growing, right? And here's one crude way of checking that out. Let's go back to the Bitcoin price. The Bitcoin price capped out here at $42,000 on January 8th, okay? Let's jump back into here. Well, we can step up here to January 8th, and right here we see this is where the Bitcoin price capped at 42,000. Since then, the price of Bitcoin has come down to 30,000. Right now, as I record this, I think it's 33,000. And you can see the amount of money locked into DeFi, despite the fact that the Bitcoin price went from 42 all the way down to what it is now, 33, right? Nearly a 25% drop. You can see that the amount of DeFi locked right now is exactly the same amount as back on January 8th. So therefore, we can assume that the DeFi movement is still going very, very strong. The amount of coins being put into it goes up. We can also look at this another way, which is we can see the value of DeFi locked up in BTC, and we see this has gone down. Now, note this is not a zero-based graph, so don't let your eyes get tricked into thinking it's plummeting to near zero. But it did plummet. So from 60,000 BTC all the way down to right now 40,000. So nearly a 33% drop to current. It did go lower. But this was at a time, and you can see the lowest point there is when the Bitcoin price was at its maximum at 42,000. Okay? So the Bitcoin price, the DeFi craze hasn't kept up over the last few months with the Bitcoin craze. Let's check out Ethereum, and I think you'll find the same story, but maybe a little bit less. Again, don't get tricked by this non-zero base. It's gone from 9.5 million down to, let's call this 7 million. So what's that? Around about a little bit over 20%. A little bit over 20% drop in terms of ETH. How much is locked in DeFi? But this is at a time when the price of Bitcoin went ballistic. The price of Ethereum has shot up and is approaching all-time highs and flirting with all-time highs. And so what this is evidence of is that the price, because we know from the dollar chart right here, we know from the dollar chart that even though the price of Bitcoin peaked here, which we know that there's still money pouring into DeFi in dollar value. Now, as measured in BTC and ETH, it appears as though that has been going down. So we know that the amount of money going into DeFi is somewhere between those two. Right? We got the thing where Bitcoin and Ethereum are taking off. The price of altcoins hasn't kept up of late. But there is still money going into DeFi, right? It's people are still putting resources into DeFi. You understand? You appreciate that difference? So this to me says, like, Bitcoin's taken off, Ethereum's taken off to a degree, or I think there's more to it. But the next time the altcoins take off, I think a lot of the small cap altcoins will rush in and catch up, and you might see some absolutely insane gains in some of those lower cap altcoins. I'd say it's almost inevitable. The challenge is picking it. Remember, the bigger coins, there's less risk to it, but there's less reward. Some of these crazy altcoins, you can get just some things that absolutely explode and go up 100x in the case of a couple of months. It's just truly ridiculous. Absolutely insane profits to be made. But you might have to get into 10 coins just to find one like that. So that's how that plays out. So let me know in the comments below. from here, where do you think the Bitcoin dominance chart is going to go? Bitcoin dominance chart going to bounce off this line and head north, or are we going to break into this area and head down, all the way down to the Bitcoin dominance chart, or somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments below. Also, what are your altcoin picks? What do you think for the next altcoin bubble? And it might be now or it might be soon. For the next altcoin bubble, tell me, what are your altcoins that you think are going to go ballistic? I'm in some of the majors at present, that being Ethereum, Link, DOT, and Cardano. And I'm now, for some of the reasons I've laid out here, I'm looking for some of those smaller cap coins that have that potential to go ballistic, just to put a little bit of money in there, have a little bit of a flirt with them, just for shits and giggles. So let me know what small coins you're excited about in the comments below. Guys, don't remember, please share this video, help me get the word out, and subscribe. On this channel, we do crypto news, technical analysis, and philosophy, and the understanding the macroeconomic situation, the geopolitical situation, so you understand what's going on. Because the price of Bitcoin, believe me, is driven more by geopolitics than most people realize. The 4-year cycle is in play. I've been an advocate of it. Arguably, I was the first to call it out in 2013. But the geopolitical landscape is huge this time. Since Bitcoin was invented in 2009, the previous crash was in 2008. Bitcoin's never seen a crash. What Bitcoin's going to do in a crash is going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible, and we're here to see it right here as this crash happens. And by the way, no, I won't say that. I'll save that for the next video. I was going to give you a really juicy nugget there, and I'm going to hold it back. That's for the next video. So make sure you subscribe. And guys, I'll see you soon. Take care.